In a land at the end of the world, where mountains touch the sky and rivers sing the song of freedom, a warrior emerged unlike any other. The Spanish conquistadors came with steel, fire, and blood. They brought death, they brought slavery. But against them rose a people who knew no surrender, the Mapuche, the people of the earth. And among them, one warrior became a legend. A man whose hands were cut off, yet his will could not be severed. A man who kept fighting, even when he no longer held a weapon. His name was Galvarino, and his story is not a tale of death, but of immortality. After Columbus's discovery in 1492, Spain began the most powerful colonial expansion of that era. Their armies toppled the empires of the Aztecs and the Incas, built new colonies, and brought Catholicism but also cruelty. The conquistadors had three goals: gold, God, and glory. Their chronicles recorded how entire nations vanished under the charge of horses, arquebuses, and steel swords. But in the far south, in today's Chile, they encountered something different. There lived the Mapuche. They did not have great cities but they had something equally formidable, a steadfast spirit of freedom. For the Spaniards, conquering the southern territories seemed like a routine task. But in the very first clashes, they realized they were fighting against a people who would resist to their last breath. Mapuche people of the land. Their strength did not lie in great cities like the Aztecs or the Incas. They had no monumental pyramids, nor a centralized state. Instead, they lived in smaller communities, bound together by customs and language. In war, they chose a Tokyo supreme leader. It was a warrior democracy, where the brave were respected, not only those born into noble blood. They valued honor, courage, and loyalty to the community. They were exceptional warriors. Their skill in guerrilla warfare baffled the Spaniards. They used the terrain, carried out night raids, and launched sudden ambushes. And most importantly, they learned. Already during the first clashes, they began using horses and weapons captured from the Spaniards. They became a people who adapted. Their culture of resistance was not only military, it was deeply rooted in the belief that a man without freedom ceases to be a man. The Spaniards believed that the Mapuche would be an easy prey, but every attempt at conquest was bloody. They underestimated the courage and organization of a people who had never before been subdued. For the Mapuche, every battle was a sacred duty. Their warriors entered combat with the conviction that even if they lost their lives, their souls would continue to live on through their people. While the Spaniards marched in armor, the Mapuche moved quickly and silently, using the forests and rivers as their allies. Their homeland became their strongest fortress. These clashes were not ordinary wars, they were encounters between two completely different civilizations, and in that collision, legends were born. In 1557, the Battle of Lagunillas took place. The Mapuche fought bravely, but they were overpowered. Galvarino was captured along with many warriors. Governor Hurtado de Mendoza wanted to send a message of intimidation. He ordered that some of the prisoners have their hands cut off. Galvarino was among them and he lost both. Imagine that moment, a warrior without weapons, without hands. The Spaniards believed this would break him, turn him into a useless cripple, and that his mutilated body would discourage the others. But the opposite happened. Instead of becoming a symbol of fear, Galvarino became a symbol of defiance. His severed hands were a sign that the Spaniards were fighting a people who would never surrender. Galvarino returned to his people without hands, but with eyes burning with fire. The warriors wept, the women wailed, but Galvarino showed no pain. Instead, he raised his voice. He declared that the Spaniards would not stop until they destroyed everything, enslaved the children, and crushed freedom itself. He demanded that blades or daggers be fastened to his severed forearms. He said, "I do not want pity. I want battle." He was living proof that a body can be broken, but the spirit never. His presence inspired his entire people. If a man without hands could stand in the front lines, how could anyone remain behind? Soon after came the great battle of Milarapu. Thousands of Mapuche faced the Spanish army. In the front lines Galvarino, without hands, but with a spirit greater than an entire army. The chronicles say he fought with his whole body, striking, biting, knocking down enemies. But what mattered most was his presence. Every Mapuche who saw him knew there was no right to retreat. If a man without hands could charge into battle, how could anyone run away? The battle was bloody. The Spaniards had horses, arquebuses, and artillery. The Mapuche were defeated. Galvarino was captured once again, but by then, his name was already carved into the memory of his people. This time, the Spaniards did not want to take any chances. Galvarino was executed. Some sources say he was hanged, others that he was thrown to the dogs, and some that he was killed immediately on the battlefield. But in the eyes of his people, he never died. In that moment, a legend was born. His death was not a defeat, it was a vow. The Mapuche knew that every warrior who fell in battle lived on in their stories. And Galvarino was more than just a warrior, he was a symbol, a reminder that freedom was worth any sacrifice. His name became a battle cry, and his sacrifice a reminder that the enemy is not fought only with weapons, but with will. Galvarino became more than a man. He became a symbol of defiance, courage, and unbreakable will. His name was passed down from generation to generation, whispered by campfires, inscribed in the hearts of the Mapuche. He was a reminder that freedom has no price. Even today, in Chile, Galvarino stands shoulder to shoulder with the greatest heroes of world history, with the Spartans at Thermopylae, with Spartacus who led the slaves against Rome, with all those who chose death over slavery. His legend outlived both the Spaniards and the wars. It became an indelible part of the Mapuche identity, proof that even when a battle is lost, the spirit of a people can still prevail. Galvarino's story is not just a tale of war. It is a story of the human spirit, of unbreakable will, and of the strength of a people who refuse to disappear. He teaches us that true power does not lie in the hands but in the heart. And so, even though nearly 500 years have passed, his voice still echoes. His message is not old, it is eternal. Every time a people rise against a stronger enemy, every time men and women choose freedom over submission, the name of Galvarino resounds through time. He is more than a hero. He is proof that a man can lose everything except his will. Better to die a free man than to live in slavery.